The Power of Habit. Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business by Charles Duhigg is a fascinating exploration of the science behind habits and how they shape our lives. Duhigg, an award-winning journalist, delves into the neurological processes that create habits and offers insights on how we can change them to improve our lives. The book begins with an introduction to the habit loop, a three-step process that includes a cue, a routine, and a reward. Duhigg explains that habits are formed when our brains create a loop that allows us to perform tasks automatically. He writes, "This process within our brains is a three-step loop. First, there is a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. Then there is the routine, which can be physical or mental or emotional. Finally, there is a reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worth remembering for the future." One of the key concepts in the book is the idea of keystone habits, which are habits that can trigger widespread change in other areas of our lives. Duhigg provides the example of exercise as a keystone habit. He writes, "Typically, people who exercise start eating better and becoming more productive at work. They smoke less and show more patience with colleagues and family. They use their credit cards less frequently and say they feel less stressed." Exercise is a keystone habit that triggers widespread change. Duhigg also explores the role of willpower in habit formation. He explains that willpower is like a muscle that can be strengthened with practice. He writes, "Willpower isn't just a skill. It's a muscle, like the muscles in your arms or legs. And it gets tired as it works harder, so there's less power left over for other things." This idea is illustrated through the story of the Starbucks training program, which teaches employees to develop willpower by practicing specific routines for handling difficult situations. Throughout the book, Duhigg provides numerous examples and quotes to illustrate the power of habits. For instance, he shares the story of Lisa Allen, a woman who transformed her life by changing her habits. Lisa was overweight, a smoker, and struggling with debt, but she decided to quit smoking and eventually changed other habits as well. Duhigg writes, "When researchers began examining images of Lisa's brain, they saw something remarkable. One set of neurological patterns, her old habits, had been overridden by new patterns. They could still see the neural activity of her old behaviors, but those impulses were crowded out by new urges. As Lisa's habits changed, so had her brain." Duhigg also discusses the importance of belief in changing habits. He explains that belief is a crucial component of the habit loop, as it helps individuals maintain their new routines. He writes, "If you believe you can change, if you make it a habit, the change becomes real." This idea is illustrated through the story of Alcoholics Anonymous, which helps individuals change their drinking habits by fostering a belief in a higher power and providing a supportive community. Another compelling example is the story of the civil rights movement, particularly the Montgomery bus boycott. Duhigg explains how the boycott started with a small group of activists who believed in the cause and were able to spread their belief to a larger community. He writes, "The boycott became a mass protest because the sense of shared identity and belief in the righteousness of the cause spread through the community, creating a new habit of resistance." This example highlights the power of collective belief in driving social change. Duhigg also explores the role of habits in organizations. He shares the story of Alcoa, a company that transformed its safety record and overall performance by focusing on a keystone habit, worker safety. Under the leadership of CEO Paul O'Neill, Alcoa made safety its top priority, which led to improvements in other areas such as productivity and quality. Duhigg writes, "O'Neill's focus on safety created a culture of excellence that permeated the entire organization." As you reflect on the ideas presented in The Power of Habit, consider how these principles can be applied to your own life. Have you been struggling to change a habit or develop a new one? What cues, routines, and rewards can you identify in your own habit loops? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about the science of habits and how to change them, I highly recommend reading or listening to the full book. The insights and examples provided by Duhigg are truly inspiring and can help you develop the habits needed to achieve your goals. The links to the full audiobook and the book are in the description. In my personal reflection, I found the power of habit to be incredibly impactful. One quote that really resonated with me was, "The golden rule of habit change. You can't extinguish a bad habit, you can only change it." This idea made me realize that trying to eliminate bad habits entirely is often futile. Instead, by focusing on changing the routine, while keeping the same cue and reward, I've been able to successfully replace bad habits with healthier ones. Another powerful moment in the book was when Duhigg discussed the concept of keystone habits. He writes, "Exercise is a keystone habit that triggers widespread change." This idea has motivated me to focus on developing keystone habits that can positively impact other areas of my life. By prioritizing exercise, I've noticed improvements in my productivity, stress levels, and overall well-being. Overall, the power of habit has been a game changer for me, and I believe it can be for you too. If you haven't already, I encourage you to read or listen to the full book. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting book summaries. If you have any suggestions for books you'd like to see summarized, let us know in the comments.